Welcome to Lit Vibes Only, where we lit the shit out of books we love and hate. I'm Amanda, the insightful thrill seeker and historical fiction nerd.
And I'm Kelsey, the unhinged, diehard romantic and fantasy reader. Welcome.
Welcome.
This is our Lit Chats episode of
Yes.
October.
Spooky season.
Before we get into it, we want to direct you to our socials. We are at litvibesonly_podcast on Instagram, and on YouTube and TikTok, we are at Lit Vibes Only Podcast. So come check us out over there. And don't forget to rate and review our podcast, because that really helps us get traction and others to see us on Spotify and Apple. So go over and do that real quick.
We deeply appreciate it. Please and thank you. And yeah, welcome to our spooky episode. Are you really big into Halloween? I feel like you aren't.
No, not really. I'm not really big into any particular holiday. But yeah, Halloween though, I get to dress up at school, which is fun. And I'll do some sort of thing with probably some of my colleagues just because it's fun and the kids have fun.
Love
the
it.
kids get to dress up and we get to dress up along with them and just be silly.
Growing up, we didn't celebrate Halloween because I grew up in a really religious family, and so that was like very taboo. But then obviously I went to school for theater. I love costuming, and so I feel like in college I would do the costume thing.
Okay.
And then at my old school, I would get into it and do wigs, full costumes. I haven't really done that though since moving to Seattle.
Oh, okay.
And starting at my new, well, it's not new anymore, but the school that I've been at for a while now. But maybe I will this year. I also don't really have a lot of friends in the area who are big into Halloween, who are like hosting Halloween parties. But in theory, I do like the idea, mainly because I like to dress up.
Yeah.
And I have 8 wigs, I think, that I've just collected over the course of my life and doing a lot of theater, because I've purchased wigs for shows that I've done, for old costumes. When Suicide Squad, the first one, came out, I went with a group of friends and we all dressed up. So I was the Joker. So I had like a lime green wig. I get into it.
Yeah.
But I just haven't since moving here, which is kind of sad. Maybe I'll do something this year. I did watch K-pop Demon Hunter, and I know that's all the rage. And I'm like, maybe I'll go all in.
Did you like that? Because we're wanting to watch it too.
I liked it. I thought it was cute. Fun. It had a good message. Obviously, the music's amazing. You know, I don't normally watch animated movies anymore, but it was fun. It was fun, and I can see why people like it. And the songs are very catchy. So
I really like animated movies. Still,
I like Pixar movies.
Yeah,
I will watch those, and that's pretty much it. I don't know that I've seen any other.
There's these famous anime movies that we've watched that I think you would like.
You mean from Studio Ghibli? Like, I've seen those.
Yeah, I think so.
Spirited Away, like those.
Yes, and Totoro.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
You need to see that one.
I know. So and there's another one. Oh, what is it?
Blue Heron is the other one that recently came out like a year ago or so.
But there's one that's good. Like older. It's like someone's delivery service or what is it? It's super popular, and I know someone who's listening right now knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Probably comment and let us know.
And I think it's also a Studio Ghibli. But I don't watch a lot of animated stuff anymore, which I think is probably true for a lot of adults who aren't into anime. If you're into anime, obviously, right? But anyhow, so this is our spooky episode. We wanted to do something that was, in line with what was happening in this month.
Yes, it's going to be Halloween this week.
It's going to be Halloween this week. And so we thought, what better time to talk about spooky books that we've read. And so we've each chosen 4 books that we feel have like spooky or eerie or like supernatural vibes that might be a fun read for this month or heading into next month, I guess, because it's the end of October now. But before we do that, I'm curious, like, what your criteria is for what makes a book spooky, like for you.
Okay. For me, it doesn't have to be like a horror book or even a mystery attached to it. It's just really a book that most of what's on my list is more a psychological
Okay. Like thriller.
thrillers, but
Okay.
not all of them are thrillers. So it's like
Okay.
there's some sort of psychological element where it's tripping you up a little.
Okay.
And you're not entirely sure what's going on. And then there is one, well, I guess there's two that are the setting is creepy, but not necessarily what's happening in the book
Okay. Like
is
the
creepy.
atmosphere.
The atmosphere, exactly.
Okay.
The setting of
Okay.
where the characters are is creepy, but like
Okay.
the way the characters respond to the atmosphere and the setting is not.
Okay. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
So
Yeah.
if I could see myself in that world, I'd be like, this is creepy kind of thing.
Get me out of here.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. I feel like for me, neither Kelsey nor I read a lot of horror. That's not really our vibe or our genre.
Yeah.
I have dipped my toes a little bit more into the water this year, and it's something I want to continue doing because I do find it fascinating, and I can handle scary books much better than I can handle scary movies because, like, I don't really watch horror movies. But I
gosh.
think for
Yeah.
me, if there's a supernatural element, so something involving
Oh, okay.
ghosts or like evil spirits, something haunted or a haunting definitely comes to mind for me. And you'll see that in some of the books that I've chosen. Quite a few of them actually involve that. So like that supernatural element is where I get like the creepy vibes, the creepy
Okay.
feels from. And actually, in looking at all of mine, the four that I'm going to be talking about, that is true for all of them, actually. They all have a supernatural element, whether it is ghosts or, yeah, like some sort of evil spirit or something, yeah, is haunted. I think is true for all of them. And because of that, it does have that atmosphere of unease and that something's just off, right? Something is just not the way that it's supposed to be, which I think it's to your point when you're talking about kind of psychological books. It's something is off with this character, something is off with their behaviors, and that just as a reader makes you feel like decentered, unstable, uncertain, and that can lead to that like vibe of unease. So yeah, I personally love psychological thrillers. I like supernatural thrillers, and I know there's a fine line between horror and supernatural thrillers. In fact, I don't even know if there is a line. Maybe they're one and the same.
Well,
I don't know.
something like It by Stephen King is horror, right?
Right.
Yeah. And I would never read a book like that.
But what I mean is, so how would you define, and I've asked folks on TikTok this months ago.
Yeah.
Like, how would you define a supernatural thriller versus a horror novel? Or do you not make a distinction?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't read a lot of those, so I wouldn't have a basis.
Yeah. For me, I think it's the same. I think the other thing I'll add to really quickly when I'm thinking about, creepy, unsettled, that's what I was looking for, unsettled, is if there's an element, which I don't like, but if there's like an element of like violence or gore, because that often can be a part of horror, both in movies and in books. And for one of the books that I'm going to be referencing today, like there is like that kind of gory aspect that again that is not for me, and it tends to make me squeamish. But I do know that for a lot of folks, that's part of why they enjoy
That's funny.
creepy things.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of gore. There can be a lot of gore in fantasy as well, just because of fighting and stuff. And sometimes it could be really explicit. It's
Really?
gross, but
I haven't encountered that yet in any of the romantic books you've had me read, which is
funny
great.
That I'm not a huge fan of that, but thinking about a gory film, did you ever watch Saw?
Oh my God, no. Absolutely not. Because I know what it's about.
I used to watch them though.
Oh, no, I could
used to,
never.
be
I could
so
never.
into them, and I don't know why. It just wasn't scary, really. It was just like
No, it's just about
gross.
torturing people.
Yeah, it was just gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But I could watch those, but
No.
not something scary.
No.
Isn't that so weird?
I don't like jump scares and I hate gore. And so that like
jump scares.
Yeah. But for me, and this is true both for kind of gory action movies and like horror, I like feel it in my body. I don't know how to explain it. I have like this like sympathetic response physically. And so I physically cannot watch someone being tortured or watching someone's eyeballs get carved. I can't. I physically cannot do it. I have to look away. And so for people who just like are like munching on their popcorn and just, I'm like, how are you okay? How do you not feel sick to your stomach and just physically in pain? I don't know.
Like so the other thing I will say about like creepy books and movies is I believe a lot of that shit. So a lot of the supernatural stuff, like I believe in a lot of those things. So if I see it, I'm like, oh God, that person's gonna fucking haunt me now. And I'm like I'm freaked out. So what is the one where the two girls are at the end of the hallway? What movie is that?
The Shining?
Oh God. Is it The Shining?
I think
I
so.
don't know.
I think so.
And then there's one about the cannibal
Oh.
guy, Cannibal Lecter?
Hannibal Lecter, Silence of the Lambs.
Hannibal.
I've seen that.
I can't watch that.
Yeah, that's
but
creepy.
like I really do like mysteries and mysteries that can be like a little creepy, you know?
Sure. Yeah.
But like I'll watch those.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
But wait, okay, rewind since this is our spooky episode. Tell us more about the creepy things you believe in.
Oh yeah, I believe there's ghosts. I believe in things like Sasquatch, and I grew up with stories about like little people. There's all sorts of things that like from my culture's perspective that are actually real, and you live your life in a way where you try to stay away from them. Yeah. So I believe in those things, and I believe that spirits can disrupt our lives if we're fucking around. So
yeah,
I believe in that stuff.
Are they like, so when you say spirits, are they like people who were once alive and now are dead, or are spirits separate from that? They're just like spirits that
they're both.
They're like, okay.
Yeah, they're both. Yeah. They can be like entities, or they could be people who
have passed away,
new, or people who have passed, who have lived lives here.
Interesting. Yeah. I grew up in a very, evangelical fundamentalist conservative Christian household. And so obviously like we believe in angels and demons.
Okay.
And they're real, right? And like you were saying, can have an impact on your life, right?
Yeah.
It can influence things and cause harm, etc. And, like we're constantly engaged in spiritual warfare to keep things at bay. So it's one reason why we didn't celebrate Halloween, right? Because that was like the devil's holiday, and we're just like welcoming bad things into our lives if we're doing that. And you definitely did not watch scary movies, especially if they were about like demons or evil spirits, because then you're like basically opening a doorway for those things to enter your life. That's the thinking.
Yeah.
At least it was in our house. So it's, if you engage with those things, you're like welcoming them in to like your life, your mind, your home, and then getting rid of them is difficult.
There are some aspects of that I believe in. Like that's really interesting, but not in the way that I'm like having to live my life in this way, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
But there's just certain things like you don't do. So like closing your blinds in the winter time, like you have to do that at night because you're inviting things in if you have them open.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so it does impact how you live your life.
Yeah. But not like daily, day to day, I don't know.
Well, yeah, I guess for me growing up, because evil spirits could be associated with so many things. Like, for example, right, we were not allowed to, and again, this is not true for all Christians. This was like our particular household. My mom was very strict, right? Like we couldn't, we couldn't read Harry Potter because that was witches and witches are bad. Anything that had to do with witches or witchcraft, wizards, magic, absolutely not. Pokemon, we were not allowed to watch Pokemon.
But they're cute.
I know, but they're like, it was anything related to monsters or like weird creatures. Like, so there were so many limitations on the media we could engage with, the books that we could read, because any one of those things could lead you astray. And again, be an opening for an evil force or the devil or evil spirits to like, get in there and lead you astray. Yeah. So who knew that years later I would be hosting a podcast episode celebrating spookiness and creepy books that I've read. So much.
Yeah.
So I think, for the structure of this episode, Kelsey and I both have 4 books that we have read that have kind of those spooky vibes. We are not going to spoil anything for you guys today. It's going to kind of function a bit like a Lit Rex episode in that we're going to, give you a quick rundown of why we think they're spooky and, maybe why you should check them out. And that's pretty much it. So again, no spoilers. We're not going to do a deep dive into these texts. here's some good spooky reads for you. And
I feel like we should have done like, if you like read this book. That would have
but
been
you know
great.
what though? Because I don't
Kind
read
of.
that many spooky books, I feel like I wouldn't have enough other books to reference. You know what I mean?
Sure. I mean, with the 4 that we have, but yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll go first.
Great.
Yeah.
Take it away.
So if you like, I'm going to actually try to do this off the cuff.
Oh, okay.
So if you like necromancy.
Oh, I see what you're doing. I thought you were
And-
going to say if you like this book, you should read this book. I'm like,
No,
I don't
no,
oh,
no,
I
no.
I see. Okay.
If you like necromancy and countless skeletons wandering about and people creating skeletons out of nowhere
Among other things.
and mazes and puzzles,
And
you should
mystery.
read. Yeah, and mystery. You should read Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir.
Look at you recommending a book I made you read. I'm
That
so
I didn't
proud
like.
that you did not like.
I personally didn't like, but if you like those things,
Yeah.
you probably would like this book.
It's very atmospheric too. Like one of the things that Kelsey didn't like, but is so perfect for this episode is that Tamsin Muir spends so much time using her beautifully crafted words, in my opinion, to create like
Overly
this
done.
setting that is just so overwhelmingly eerie. The setting is its own character, in my opinion.
And that is great. That's what I love about books, right? Like they can be so many different things. And yes, I agree with you in that sense that the world itself is like its own character. But I think the world takes kind of a back seat to the 2 main characters, which is Gideon and what's her name? Harrow.
Harrow, yeah.
And their back and forth makes it less creepy in my mind.
It does, but I think it's a good balance though, because the whole book is, about necromancy and all of this stuff. And so it takes this really dark magical practice and balances out with like their sarcastic banter. And I think it works well because they're so opposite. I don't know. I thought it was very entertaining and
They were entertaining, but I didn't like the world as much, but it is spooky and that's
it's a spooky
part
world.
of maybe why I didn't like it. I don't know.
Maybe. But I think, if that's your vibe. Also, it takes place kind of in space, they're like traveling to these
I
different
completely
planets.
forgot about
to the first house. We did an episode on this already, so you're welcome to go back and listen to that. But that does have spoilers in it, so FYI. But and the bulk of the book takes place in this like crumbling palace, right? Which again, in and of itself, just has this really
creepy,
derelict, neglected, dead, decaying vibe. So it's glorious. It's funny. It's also there's a romance built into it as well, one that might surprise you. So if you want something spooky and sarcastic, then I think
if you like spooky mixed with sarcastic,
that might be a win for you.
Yeah,
I completely agree. My first one, I would say if you are a fan, like me, of historical fiction and also someone who enjoys celebrating diverse stories and authors while also looking for something that is a little eerie, then there is no better choice than The Reformatory by Tanan Reeve. Read that this year, one of my top reads of 2025, and it essentially tells the story of this adolescent boy named Robbie who gets sent to a boys' reform school in Florida. Right. And it is based on a real boys' reform school. There were actually a couple that did some really horrible things to the boys who passed through their gates. And so it's very much steeped in history. Has a lot to say about race, of course, because Robbie is a young Black boy down in the South in 1950. And so race plays a huge role, but essentially Robbie's special because he can see ghosts or haints, as they're called in this book. And so it is a bit of a ghost story as well. I thought it's beautifully written. It dives into some really important issues. It does have this creepy, almost gothic setting at this, esteemed quote unquote boys reformatory school that has this really morbid history. And I'm not gonna say any more than that. But as a historical fiction reader, this was a great way to get into something that's more, because it is considered a horror novel. If you look for this book at your bookstore, it will likely be in the horror section. That's where I found this one. But I didn't find it like scary in that I'm not gonna be able to sleep at night because I'm so afraid. It's honestly the thing that makes it scary is the horrible ways humans treat each other. That's kind of where the horror comes from. It's not from the ghosts. It's from like man's inhumanity to man and the ways that we can just be so horrible to each other. But such a good book, easily 5-star read, and yeah, it's a little creepy.
Somebody got it as you were talking. I was like, somebody just mentioned this book to me, and I was like, oh yeah, Amanda read this recently, and she loved it. I was like, I think it was one I never want to read.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because so when it's like real like that, sometimes it's too much for me.
Yeah.
In that I get very sensitive about those things, and it ruins a month for me if I read things like that.
Yeah, thinking about your own background and your own heritage, like thinking about all of the indigenous children that were taken away to schools such as this, right? I mean, they weren't necessarily, well, I mean, some of them were reform schools in a way, or like boarding schools, and like
they were
horrible
called
things
boarding
happened,
schools,
right? And a lot of the behaviors and actions taken against the young men in this book are identical to what happened to young indigenous people. So yeah, it's a heavy book. It ends well, but it's a heavy book. Yeah.
That's good. At least good ending. But yeah, seriously, like in reality, there wasn't good endings.
Yeah.
For the people that experience these things, and it's awful. But gosh, it's just heart-wrenching. I guess like you're saying, it's just too close to home.
Yeah.
My grandmother was in a boarding school, and so it's
it's real.
Tough stuff. But yeah, I would definitely designate that as creepy.
Yeah.
Because it's more put in reality than not.
Yeah. Yep.
Dang. Okay. This is a book that you would like if you like not really knowing what's going on in a book. And if you don't know what's real or fake, it's an unreliable narrator.
Super trippy.
It's a trippy book. Yeah, I think you would like this book if you like those things. So this is Bunny by Mona Awad.
That was such a convoluted description, but it's because the book is convoluted. It's so weird.
Yeah, and in the end, I had no idea like what it was about.
Yeah.
So to give you the setting, you're in the narrator's mind, right? And perspective. And what she's seeing is very unrealistic. And you don't really know if she's like tripping or if she's actually experiencing some of these things. But she essentially is a college student, I think grad student, right?
Yeah.
And she has this grad seminar where she has met these other women who call themselves bunnies, and they are just like these pretty girls that dress well, and they're all writers. And so it kind of goes into the different ideas that they all bring to the table, but also behind the curtain of, is this a cult? And what's going on with these girls that they're so like, they call each other bunny and don't distinguish between one another.
Yeah.
So
they just have like weird rituals as they're trying to come up with ideas for their stories. It's dark and sinister
it's very dark.
And bizarre. And yeah, you spend a good chunk of the novel just like, what? Like WTF? Like, I don't know what's happening here.
What is this like referencing? Like, what is it actually referencing in the real world?
I have also read this book. And then we also, in my book club, we read Rouge by Mona Awad as well. And it's very similar in that you're just like, what is real? What isn't? How much is in the narrator's mind? This is so freaking bizarre. That's just that's her wheelhouse. So strap in for a wild ride and know that you will probably finish this book just as confused as when you started it.
Yes. I believe I looked it up afterwards, and it's commentary on the grad school Oh God.
Like culture, like,
Yes, thank you. And
yeah,
academic
yeah,
culture.
yeah,
It's
it
a
for sure
lot to do
is.
with that.
For sure. Even more so because they're in an MFA program, right? They're like you were saying, they're all writers. And so
Yeah.
it's just, they're all trying to be like edgy and write the
Yeah.
latest, greatest thing. And like, where do you get your ideas from? And what lengths will you go to in order to access, I don't know, your creativity?
Yeah.
It gets real dark.
Really.
Yeah. And this
So
is
if you
one where
like weird, yeah.
it's weird. It's interesting too, because it's like there's nothing explicitly like horror about this
Uh,
book. Well,
kind of.
some of their,
There's
yeah, no,
some
I take it back. So
gore-ish
there is some
elements.
gore. Yeah, I take it back
Yeah.
because it does give culty ritual vibes. So yeah, I take
Mm-hmm.
it back. There is that, but
Yeah.
there's not. I guess there's not a supernatural element with this particular book. The horror definitely comes in with like their strange behavior and their weird practices. Is there a supernatural element
It
that I'm
kind
missing?
of is supernatural in that. I mean,
Okay.
I guess I'm trying to understand, like, because I don't want to spoil for people,
Yeah.
but the men in the book and
Uh-huh.
how they come to
Oh,
life.
yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
supernatural or is that more something else? I don't know.
I honestly don't know because the book is so weird. Y'all just read it. I guarantee you have not read a book like this
Oh
before.
yeah,
So if you were
absolutely.
an avid reader and you've read hundreds and hundreds of books and you're like,
I
I've
need
I've seen
something
it
different.
all, and you have
Yeah.
not read this book, you should read this book
Yes.
because it's
It's a
gonna
great.
just, yeah, it's gonna take you for a wild ride and it'll be something different for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my next one. So earlier this year, yeah, it was this year. Was it last year? I think it was earlier this year.
Mm.
I asked folks on Book Talk for recommendations for like supernatural thrillers because I wanted
Yeah.
to get more into that genre. And this is one of those books they recommended. So again, I would say similar to my first book, if you like historical fiction
Mm-hmm.
but also want a creepy ghost story that connects to hauntings and like town legends, then this is the book for you. It is The Winter People by Jennifer McMahon. And it starts off in the past, so the early 1900s, it's like 1908,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
and this woman is found dead in the field behind her house, right? Right after the very tragic death of her daughter. So then it
Oh.
jumps to the present day, and now this farmhouse is inhabited by a new family, a mother and two daughters. And yeah, things just start to get a little creepy in this house.
Oh.
And ultimately, I believe I'm like looking at my notes here. The mom vanishes one morning. The daughters cannot find her. She's just
Mm.
gone. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's the catalyst that gets the plot going. And
Mm.
so as they're trying to figure out where their mother is and what's happened, they uncover some dark secrets about this town and this house. And
Dun,
it's
dun,
not what you think it
dun.
is. I had my suspicions about what it was going to be,
Yeah.
and it was not that.
Okay.
But I would say it's definitely a supernatural thriller. It's very eerie. It takes place in New England in the winter. So there's this element of isolation in this farmhouse, and you're kind of cut off from the outside world, getting snowed in. And it's delicious and delightful and creepy and perfect for the fall as we move into the winter. I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't say it's a cozy read because it's creepy,
Yeah.
but because of the time of year that the book takes place, it also, I think, fits that as well. I thoroughly enjoyed
Mm.
it. Was very happy with this recommendation. Is the kind of book that
Mm.
maybe will keep you up at night if you get
Oof.
scared easily. But it was original,
Okay.
and it took me by surprise. And I really liked that. So The Winter People, check it out, folks.
This next book of mine is the only book in my list that you haven't read, which I just like
Oh, yes.
realized as we were talking about Bunny. So this one I think is the least creepy
Okay.
of all of my books that I'm mentioning today, but I felt it's a YA is
Okay.
kind of why, but I felt it did have elements like psychological, like elements to it. And so
Okay.
that's why I chose it. So you will enjoy this book, or you should read this book if you like mystery,
Okay.
uncovering of people's identities,
Yeah.
and what is it? Betrayal.
Okay.
And also the backdrop of a carnival themed type esque book.
Okay.
So this book is Caraval by Stephanie Garber.
Okay.
And yeah, it just is about these two sisters who have a really controlling father, and they haven't been able to leave their piece of land. I don't remember if it's an island or not. They
It
go
says
to an
island.
island. Okay,
They've
great.
never left their island. Yeah.
They've never left their island, but there is this caraval in this other island nearby that they really desperately desire to go to. And so the mystery unfurls from there. Is that the right word?
Okay, sure. Is there a mystery at the carnival, or is the carnival a like what's the mystery?
The carnival is the mystery, and then also they're betrayed like in different ways, and uncover like different identities of folks throughout their journey.
Okay.
Yeah. And not everything is as it seems.
Which makes sense in a carnival. There's a lot of
characters and interesting folks.
Okay. I think a carnival is a great backdrop for it to be a little bit unsettling because nothing is ever what it seems at a carnival. You know, it's all about like illusions and magic and flights of fancy, fantasy, and ooh, okay, Caraval. But I saw this author's name, Stephanie Garber. I'm like, oh, is she related to Romina Garber? Like,
no, I don't think so. But yes, that's a
author
good connection.
Siblings. Ooh,
that'd be wild.
That would be kind of crazy. I don't know that, it's interesting because, and this is a tangent, sorry guys, there's a lot of actor siblings, but I'm like, there's gotta be at least a couple author siblings that have both found acclaim as writers. That has to be a thing. I mean, of course there are, because there's, oh God, who are the sisters?
Bront sisters.
Yes, thank you. I was like,
Charlotte, Emily, and Anne.
Yeah. Well, I know Charlotte and Emily. I didn't know. I don't know if I've read anything by Anne Bront, but anyhow. Okay. Well, moving on. Sorry, I went down a little rabbit hole. So my third book, I think I did mention this last year during our Native American Heritage Month, potentially. I cannot remember. So if you've been with us for
has it been that long?
Yeah. So if you've been with us since day one, you might have heard me recommend this book before. But this is for sure a full-on horror novel. You will absolutely find it in the horror section at your local bookshop. And I would say you would like this book if you're okay with gore, because there are some gory moments in it. If you enjoy, again, supernatural element for sure. If you like when those supernatural elements are tied to legends from a particular culture and beliefs from a particular culture. And if, once again, you enjoy supporting diverse stories and authors. So this is Bad Cree by Jessica Johns. So the name kind of gives it away that it's a young Cree woman who left her home a while ago and moved to, I want to say, let's see, I think it's the United States. I'm trying to remember. She's originally from Alberta in Canada, but she leaves, and I can't remember if she goes to Vancouver or if I think it's in Vancouver. I don't think she leaves Canada entirely, but she basically leaves her hometown because something really horrible and tragic happened to her sister, and she just has to get away and start over again. But it looks like her past has followed her because she starts having these really vivid dreams. And not only are they super vivid, but when she wakes up in the morning, she's often like holding items from the dream. So there's some weird, like her dreams are taking on physical form. Okay. So she also gets a text from her sister, her dead sister, that really throws her. And so she's like, I got to go home and figure out what the heck is going on. So again, that's how the story starts. It is very creepy. This is full on creepy. And how do I say this without giving away anything? The things that happen to individuals in this book, and I guess like the evil spirits, result in some gory things happening that I found a bit hard to stomach. And I had to just kind of shoulder my way through. But if I'm remembering correctly, it's really only like maybe 2 or 3 scenes and then some smaller moments. But yeah, Jessica
Okay.
Johns does not shy away from being a bit violent in some of the moments in this book. So I will give, I guess, a trigger warning for that if you're someone who's a bit squeamish or more sensitive. There are those moments in the book that you might want to skip over or skim through. But overall, I found it fascinating. For me, it was a window because I don't know a ton
Mm-hmm.
about Indigenous cultures and particularly some of the beliefs that they have around like spirits and life and death and all of that. And so I feel like I learned a lot about that as well. And it was great to
Very cool.
support an Indigenous author as well
Yeah.
and expand my reading in that way. So super creepy and like very much belongs in this episode.
Yeah. My husband read this book and I think he
Yes.
read it
You're
and
the
that's why.
well, you're the one who recommended it to me because he had read it and you're like, oh, I
Yeah.
think Amanda might like
He liked
this.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I just read that she's from the Sucker Creek First Nation and that's
Uh-huh.
in northern Alberta.
Yeah.
So very cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else you want to highlight about Bad Cree?
I don't think so, aside from go and read it. If you really want like a
Yeah.
legit 100% horror novel, like this will do it for you, I think.
Yeah. There's another author, native author that my husband reads, Stevens, something Stevens.
Okay.
That's really creepy. And
Okay.
he constantly has, he's like, God, this is creepy. But he just keeps reading it. I
Loves
don't
it.
understand,
Yeah.
y'all.
Yeah.
Okay. This is my last book that is definitely creepy vibes and
We
will
love
keep
it.
you up at night. It
Hmm.
certainly did for me. And this
Mm.
was, I read this like a while
Long
back
time ago, same.
when I was single. And so I was living by myself. And yeah, it was certainly like sometimes lights on at night,
Yeah.
creepy. And so you will like this book if
Hmm.
you enjoy vampires, but not sexy vampires, very, very
Uh-huh.
creepy vampires.
Uh-huh.
If you like apocalypse
Hmm.
stories,
Apocalyptic. Yep. Hmm.
if you like reading many different points of views
Hmm. Yep.
and experiencing the world in many different like lives. Not only that, if you like a book that spans hundreds of years and really like creepy it's also psychological too.
Yeah. And it's part of the series. So if you like
And it's a
series.
series.
Hmm.
This book is none other than The Passage by Justin
Oh,
Cronin.
so good. So good. Oh my God. I
This
love it.
book, yeah, it definitely, I was sucked. I'm a sucker for
Oh,
this book.
you were so that we're gonna have to cut that.
Oh God, what did I
You're
say?
you're like, I was sucked.
Into this book. I just didn't finish my sentence.
That's hilarious.
I
Maybe we won't.
like, yeah, when I talk sometimes, I don't hear what I'm saying and it's just coming out.
It just
So,
comes out.
and then I don't remember what I said.
Oh God. That was
Especially with
funny.
the Kelseyisms. Like
Oh yeah, of
I'm like, wait,
course.
what did I say?
Yep.
Because I think I thought I said something else, but I did not. But yeah, this story starts with a young, like it's 6-year-old orphan, Amy,
Hmm. Hmm.
and the government is looking for her and it eventually does kidnap her for her to be part of this experiment that's going on somewhere in Colorado, I think.
Yeah, it's somewhere out west. Yeah.
And the story kind of goes on from there.
Yeah.
And there's this cop that's important in Amy's life,
Hmm.
the agent that picks her up and then
Hmm.
realizes what's happening to her.
Hmm.
He's important in her life.
Yeah.
And she actually eventually becomes the savior of the
Hmm.
world,
Hmm.
essentially.
Yep.
But
Oh,
yeah,
so
it is
good.
it is
So
so
good,
creepy. What I
guys.
will say is it starts with how it started, but then it like jumps timelines
Yeah.
and then it shows you what it's like 100 years later and they're
Hmm.
still struggling with this world. And
Hmm.
the way these people are living is like
Hmm.
they're in like this fortress in the Pacific
Hmm.
Northwest actually.
Yes. Yep.
And one of the vampires is messing with their minds.
Hmm.
And it's so creepy and everything kind of shakes out from there and
Yeah.
then it jumps again and it continues to jump until the final book, which is, where everything wraps up.
Hmm.
But yeah, it is so good and it's such good storytelling.
Yes.
And you do need a glossary for all of the characters because you will not remember all of them.
Yeah.
But it is,
It's excellent.
yeah.
I would also say if you are a fan of The Last of Us, you will love this series.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's
Sure.
a lot of connections between the two. And the entire, I guess it's a trilogy, not a series, but the entire trilogy, it's all published, right? So you're not going to be
Yep.
waiting for the
That
next book
too.
to drop.
Mm-hmm.
I inhaled these books. I read them back in 2018.
Oh, wow.
And I just couldn't stop reading. As soon as I finished the
Yep.
first one, I was like, I have to read the second one.
And they're long ass
They're
books, guys.
long. They are long books, but they will completely consume your life in the best way possible. And so creepy. Got the whole like post-apocalyptic world going
Yeah.
on. Lots of things that'll get revealed as you read it because you start
Mm.
off with very limited information. Going
Yep.
in, I think, as blind as possible is the best way to
Mm-hmm.
experience a series or
We
this
just
trilogy.
told you like the tiniest
Yeah.
snippet of
Yeah.
the book. And it's funny too, because this is the first time I read these books when they were released. I think I read the first one a while after it was released, but then I had to
Okay.
wait for the second and third.
Mm,
And I had two friends that were reading these books along with me. And
okay.
it was just a fun, like, you know how we experience that here, right?
Yeah.
And in our book group, like, this was one of the first books I experienced that with, like this like excitement for the next book and excitement
Yeah.
over the story and characters. Like it was fun.
Yeah. It's a deep dark
Yeah.
trilogy, and I think you'll love it if you give it a try.
Creepy.
It's
Yep.
so good. Oh, so good.
Yep.
Okay, my last book, God, if you I think if you like horror books and movies that have to do with children and like that kind
Ooh.
of creepy child aspect, which I know is quite pervasive. It's like a trope in so many
Yeah.
horror
Yeah.
stories. I think you're gonna like this book. If you like stories where you have kind of this outsider coming into an environment and
Mhm.
being like, what the heck is going on? Something's wrong. You're gonna like this book. So it's Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulik. He is one of the new thriller authors that I discovered this year. He is not new. I just discovered him this year. And I think this was the first book of his that I read. And I would say it is one of my top thriller books of all time now.
Wow.
Because it was just so unique. And part of it is because it has this kind of horror supernatural element.
Okay.
The gist of it is that there's this young woman named Mallory who takes a job as a nanny for this family to look after their
Ugh.
5-year-old son, Teddy. Okay.
Already creeped out.
She loves it. She's fresh out of rehab. So she's like, fresh start, getting back on her feet. She develops a really
Interesting.
great bond with this little boy who's like the sweetest. But then she starts to realize that the pictures that he's drawing are getting increasingly creepy.
Mhm.
And like normally he's drawing like rabbits and balloons and trees. And then one day she sees that he has drawn a picture of a man in a forest dragging like a dead woman's body. And from there, right, she keeps seeing more and more pictures. And what's creepy is that they no longer look like they're drawn by a 5-year-old, like stick figures, whatever. They're like fully fleshed out, like beautifully illustrated, like images. And so she's like, what the heck is happening? And so
Mhm.
it's really creepy. There's definitely, again,
Sounds like
supernatural forces at play. Because she's fresh out of rehab, she's also, not considered the most reliable narrator or
Oh.
person in the story. And so she's like, no one's going to believe me if I'm like, yeah, I think your kid is like channeling some sort of spirit or something. What the
Yeah.
heck is going on? And the reason
Unless-
why I like this book is because Jason Rekulik did something very cool, is that you get to see the illustrations in the book, which are
Oh.
so creepy. They are
Gross.
so creepy. I cannot tell you because I didn't know that was part of the book because it was on Kindle, so it's not like I could flip through and
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
And so I like, turn the page on my Kindle and like
Yeah.
suddenly there's this super insanely creepy pencil drawing like glaring out at me from the page.
No.
It just adds this incredibly creepy, eerie element. I loved it so
Hate it.
much. It was so unsettling and so surprising. So if you're looking for something a bit different, check this book out because it's not often that you find that additional element in an adult novel, right? That illustration element. And
Yeah.
it really ratcheted up the creepy vibe to 100. And it was
Yuck.
fabulous. It was so
Oof.
fabulous.
See, okay. This reminded me of like thinking back to Verity.
Yeah.
That is how much child creepy I can take and handle.
I see.
That is the
Yeah.
line.
Yeah.
And this
Then
sounds
you would not,
awful.
you would not like it. And there's also another really crazy twist that you would not see coming. I did not see it coming from like at all.
Wow.
That doesn't even have to do with the supernatural stuff.
Okay.
It's so good. So yes, listeners, if you haven't heard of Jason Mikulik before, or if you've read him but not read this book, you should absolutely read it. It's just eerie. It's creepy. It's supernatural. It's a thriller. It's mysterious. All the things. Like it checked all the boxes for me. I wish I could read it again for the first time.
Wow.
Like truly, it was so good.
Oof. Yeah, I can't do creepy. I mean, I think it's a great way to end our episode.
It's an excellent way to end our episode.
Two super creepy
books. Yeah, I would say if you have listeners your own suggestions for creepy, spooky season reads, definitely let us know. If you're not following us on socials, this is one more reason why you should be. So hop on socials. Let us know what books you'd recommend for us to check out, or maybe just me, because I feel like I read more creepy stuff than Kelsey. But you can do that at litvibesonly_podcast on Instagram, or you can head over to TikTok and leave us a note there. It's Lit Vibes Only Podcast. You can also check out the full-length video episode on our YouTube channel, which is also Lit Vibes Only Podcast. So be sure to do that. We love giving recommendations and we love receiving them. So please do so.
Absolutely.
And as always, don't forget to rate and review. If you want to leave a comment, if you're on Spotify, if you want to leave a comment on this episode telling us your book recommendations, that would also be fantastic. And you can leave a full review on Apple as well. So thank you so much for joining us for our little spooky session today.
Happy spooky season.
You enjoyed it. Happy spooky season. Happy Halloween. And we will see you next Monday.
Bye.